A spiritual manifestation. John Greenleaf. Whittier. Today the plant by Williams set its summer bloom discloses. The wilding sweet friar of his prayers is crowned with cultured roses. Once more the island state repeats the lesson that he taught her, and binds his pearl of charity upon her brown-locked daughter. Is single quote he fancy that he watches still his providence plantations? That still the careful founder takes a part on these occasions. Methinks I see that reverend form, which all of us so well know. He rises up to speak. He jogs the presidential elbow. Ampersand quo. Good friends, ampersand quo. He says, ampersand quo. You reap a field I sowed in self-denial, for toleration had its griefs and charity its trial. Ampersand quo. Great grace, as saith Sir Thomas More, to him must needs be given who heareth heresy and leaves the heretic to heaven. Ampersand quo. I hear again the snuffled tones, I see in dreary vision dyspeptic dreamers, spiritual bores, and prophets with a mission. Ampersand quo. Each zealot thrust before my eyes his scripture-garbled label. All creeds were shouted in my ears as with the tongues of Babel. Ampersand quo. Scourged at one cart tail, each denied the hope of every other. Each martyr shook his branded fist at the conscience of his brother. Ampersand quo. How cleft the dreary drone of man, the shriller pipe of woman, as Gorton led his saints elect, who held all things in common. Ampersand quo. Their gay robes trailed in ditch and swamp, and torn by thorn and thicket, the dancing girls of Marymount came dragging to my wicket. Ampersand quo. Shrill Anabaptists, shorn of ears, grey witch wives, hobbling slowly, and antinomians, free of law, whose very sins were holy. Ampersand quo. Horse ranters, crazed fifth monarchists, of stripes and bondage braggarts, pale churchmen, with cinched rubrics snatched from puritanic faggots. Ampersand quo. And last, not least, the Quakers came, with tongues still sore from burning, the Bay States dust from off their feet before my thresholds burning. Ampersand quo. A motley host, the Lord's Labrie, faith sods and ends together. Well might I shrink from guests with lungs tough as their breeches leather. Ampersand quo. If, when the hangman at their heels came, rope in hand to catch them, I took the hunted outcasts in, I never sent to fetch them. Ampersand quo. I fed, but spared them not a whit. I gave to all who walked in, not clams and succotash alone, but stronger meat of doctrine. Ampersand quo. I proved the prophets false, I pricked the bubble of perfection, and clapped upon their inner light the snuffers of election. Ampersand quo. And looking backward on my times, this credit I am taking. I kept each sectary's dish apart, no spiritual chowder making. Ampersand quo. Where now the blending signs of sect would puzzle their sorter, the dry-shod Quaker kept the land, the Baptist held the water. Ampersand quo. A common coat now serves for both, the hat's no more a fixture? And which was wet and which was dry, who knows in such a mixture? Ampersand quo. Well, he who fashioned Peter's dream to bless them all is able, and bird and beast and creeping thing make clean upon his table. Ampersand quo. I walk by my own light. But when the ways of faith divided, was I to force unwilling feet to tread the path that I did? Ampersand quo. I touched the garment hem of truth, yet saw not all its splendor. I knew enough of doubt to feel for every conscience tender. Ampersand quo. God left men free of choice, as when his Eden trees were planted. Because they chose amiss, should I deny the gift he granted? Ampersand quo. So, with a common sense of need, our common weakness feeling, I left them with myself to God and his all-gracious dealing. Ampersand quo. I kept his plan whose rain and sun to tarry and wheat are given. And if the ways to hell were free, all left then free to heaven. Ampersand quo. Take heart with us, O man of old, soul freedom's brave confessor, so love of God and man wax strong, that sect and creed be lesser. The jarring discords of thy day in ours one hymn are swelling. The wandering feet, the severed paths, all seek our Father's dwelling. And slowly learns the world the truth that makes us all thy debtor, that holy life is more than right, and spirit more than letter? That they who differ pole-wide serve perchance the common master, and other sheep he hath than they who graze one narrow pasture. For truth's worst foe is he who claims to act as God's avenger, and deems, beyond his sentry beat, the crystal walls in danger. Who sets for heresy his traps of verbal quirk and quibble, and weeds the garden of the Lord with Satan's borrowed dibble. Today our hearts like organ keys one master's touch are feeling. The branches of a common vine have only leaves of healing. Co-workers, yet from varied fields, we share this restful nooning. The Quaker with the Baptist here believes in close communing. Forgive, dear saint, the playful tone, too light for thy deserving. Thanks for thy generous faith in man, thy trust in God unswerving. Still echo in the hearts of men the words that thou hast spoken. No forge of hell can weld again the fetters thou hast broken. The pilgrim needs a pass no more from Roman or Genevan, thought free, no ghostly tallman keeps henceforth the road to heaven.